All right, guys. So what I've got here is a gravity-defying pry bar. 12mm bolt here and here. Just gonna crack these out. I have actually cracked both bolts already before I started filming this, just to save time. There's a long one here, and this is going to be a slightly shorter one. So just make sure you put the long one at the top, short one at the bottom when you do this the other way around. I'll show you. Here. There you go. One's longer than the other. So once those two bolts are off, what you're going to do is, got this pry bar here. Pop that behind. There you go. Oh, that was easy. No marks there, right? So this one and this should just wiggle off because these are rubber bushings. Just with a little bit of care. There we go. All right, so that's the old shock. It's not adjustable, so that's a problem as well, because I want to be able to adjust these. So I know that was what was on the bike when I bought it, and yeah, I hope is always to upgrade and make things more to your liking. So anyway, we'll get the other one off the other side and we'll get on to setting them up. Now, as I said, I got the 12-inch shock, so I'm going to give them a little bit extra height. According to the specs I read online, I should be able to use a 12-inch shock for this. So if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to return them, which would be a pain because I've actually threw the plastic bags they came in away. So hopefully I'll be able to return those if that's the case, but we'll see what happens and get back in a bit. Right, so we're going to do the other side. This one's a bit more of a mess. Bit of rust here, bit of rust inside. Now I don't know if that's a contributing factor here, if they're rusty and old, but they're not adjustable, so they've got to go. And this one I'm going to do live. The other one I kind of did first. And got all the grunting out of the way first. As I said, two 12mm bolts. Very, very simple. There's a guy on YouTube, DCF Garage, I believe, who did a video of this on their 2004, I think it was his wife's bike, and I followed that, so you could always watch that as well. But yeah, I took the saddle bags and everything off first. And we're starting to see a little bit of fluid there. I don't know if that's oil or what, but this has got to come off. Looks like it's going to move nicely. Oh yeah, look at that. Just a little bit of tension with a pry bar. And the wheel drops, that's where you get your adjustment. Okay, that makes perfect sense now. So, off comes the old one. These bushings actually aren't too bad. I don't know if you can see this. It's just really, I'm trying to peer over the back of the camera. But these bushings on this side really aren't too bad. There's some little notches in where they get old and cracked and pieces fall out. So maybe it's time, but they don't look too bad. It looks like they've been shedding some fluid. Perhaps they have fluid in these. Tell me if you know, because I have no idea. Again, this is pretty simple, layman's terms. Never done a project like this before, and if you haven't, here's a video for you to have a go at. So that can go away, it's going to go in the garbage. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to wipe all this down, clean it up a little bit, and put the new ones on. Okay, so I've given this a good clean up. I put some, hopefully you can see this, I got the camera back a little further than I had before, but there we go. I'm going to handle it by hand, so sorry if it's moving around. Right here I sprayed some WD and got that cleaned out a bit and just cleaned up a little bit. It needs a clean, ready for the season, but unfortunately where I live I can't do that. I don't have a hose pipe outside, so anyway, The new shock is ready to go on, as I said, 12 inches. So I've got to lift the back wheel up because this dropped when the second shock came off. Obviously it's called a swing arm for a reason. So I'm just going to put my foot under here and get behind the caliper and just lift this baby onto there. There we go. There you go, that's the way to do it. Get that on all the way first. Alright, so that is on. Bringing it up closer, I think. So what I want to stress is that this is a 12-inch shock, which has given me 12 inches, a little higher stance seat height. If you want to keep with the stock size, that's 11 inches, by all means do that. Now up top here there's a sleeve bolt. Because the previous owner put progressive shocks on, that's not a stock shock that I took off, he had already bought that sleeve bolt. It says in the instructions for this that you need to put a special bolt with a part number from Honda. Well, you can get it online at Revzilla, and I will put that part number up, because if this is the first time you're using this type of shock, you will have to get this bolt here. But it's available online, so you just have to wait a little extra time. They don't say that when you order it from J&P Cycles, which is where I got these shocks from. Would have been nice if they did, but I didn't have to worry about it. First thing I thought was, oh man, why didn't they say that before? But not a big deal because it was already progressives. But if you've never changed the shocks before on your VTX1800, you're going to need to do that. All right, let's snug these puppies up. And this really is a fairly quick install. It's about the same as, you know, doing any brake job on here. It's just very straightforward. I don't know what the torque specs. Let's try that again. I don't know what the torque settings are for these two bolts, but I'm going to look them up online and use my handy dandy torque wrench to set them up. Handy dandy. What is this? Blue's Clues? There we go. Right, we're going to move around the other side. Should be a little easier because the wheel is already up. There we go. It's kind of hard to differentiate, what the heck was that? Differentiate. So I'm going to hold the video and go and get the other shock. Alright, so this is that bolt I was telling you about right here. It's a sleeve bolt, or words to that effect. I would call it a sleeve bolt. This is what I'd call it back home. But this is the one that needs to be changed out. So I just want to let you know that. Alright, let's get the other shock on. As I said, it's a fairly easy job. I'm looking at the clock here. It took me 10 minutes to get them off. And it's not really, this was going to be live. So you'll see how long this is taking. It's not that bad. Right, what did we learn from last time? We get this on all the way first. There we go. Just be careful. The bike jack move there gave me a wobbly moment. There we go, pushed on. That really, honestly, is it. There's your shock, it's on. If you're even mildly mechanically inclined, I'm no expert, I'm no mechanic either, I can assure you of that, but it really isn't that big a deal. So, of course, it's all down to the ride and how the ride feels. Snug it up, find out what the torque settings are. I'll stop the video, check the torque settings, and continue. And when I've done that, get my torque wrench. Torque wrench is in the house. So yeah, I'll get that set up with a torque wrench and we'll continue. Back in a bit. All right, guys, so here we go. If you can find the socket, you don't. Here we go. So I've got my torque wrench and I set it for, there we go, 20 foot-pounds. I looked that up online. Now I wanted to correct a previous video that I'd made probably about a year or so ago when I installed the fuel controller here, the fuel management, and I said that the source that I went to was badass choppers, but it's not, it's bare ass choppers, and I'll put a link right, not, I don't know if I can do a link or not, but I'll certainly put the name on the screen when I do that. Just a correction there, those guys are an absolute gold mine of information, so I highly recommend you use them. So here we go, 20 foot-pounds. There we go, 20 foot-pounds. We'll do the same down here. There we go, 20 foot-pounds, beautiful. All right, so that's done. I'm going to go around and do the other side. Good, done, yep. All right, that's it. We'll clean up this mess. I've got to wipe it down, it's a mess. The bike's a mess, not just the garage right now, but yeah, I'll hold this. That's what I'm... Neighbour just came in. There you go. Don't know what the light's like in here, but it's always fun to do it in the garage. I enjoy it. So, all right, like I said, let's get this blooming mess cleaned up, and I'll show you the box too. All right, so let me show you what comes with the kit. Here we've got a set of instructions, just pretty straightforward. Tells you how to adjust them up after the fact. I can get some of that. Yeah, there you go. This is after they're installed, you can adjust it. Right now I'm on the minimum setting. It will go up to maximum loading. Basic warnings and stuff like that. So it comes in a pretty comprehensive little pack here. Tells you how to set them, how to get your target ride length, and it's this tells you how to measure it and all that kind of stuff. I've gone with the 12s because I can and I want higher, seat higher, but I believe that's just the beginning of the setup, so we'll find out when we're riding exactly how that feels and if I need to make any adjustments. Oh, neighbours are out. So it also comes with the adjuster, which is for adjusting the ride height. There's a pack of grease here that they recommend you put on the adjusting area. This little cam adjuster here, they recommend you put grease along here just to make it flow easier or move easier when you adjust it. So there we go. Comes with different bushings. I'm wondering if some of these are backups, spares, but I got away with just using the bushings that were in the shocks. I didn't have to do any of this. So these are just going to be backups, which I always keep. And what's even cooler is a set of toolbox clings or stickers. Gotta have those, love them. One's already on my work toolbox. I know it's silly, but there you go. So that's it. Gonna get everything cleaned up and take the bike out for a test drive. I'll be back in a while. All right, so what I did want to show you was that right here is the cam adjuster. It goes from its minimum setting all the way around to the maximum setting. And what they recommend is, this is included grease here, is to put some grease all the way along here to make adjustment easier. I don't want to overdo it, but I'm going to have a good smattering there. And of course the same on the other side too. Might have overdid that a little bit, but we'll go around and do the other side. So here we go, same thing. Not quite so much this time. So when you put that wrench in here, I'll show you it. We'll get that and I'll show you it. All right, so, whoop, on the camera. So I've got the wrench set in place here, and I'm going to go one up from the bottom and out. There you go. It's just, I don't know why, I just don't want to bottom out. And if the ride's too high, I know I can, if the ride's too high, I know I can go back one. So, or if the ride just doesn't feel right, I can go back one. You can do the same on the other side. And they go the same. There you go, one up from bottom. And that's what I couldn't do with the shocks that were on here before. I had no adjustment whatsoever. So we're going to see how that goes. Obviously you're going to put this wrench on the bike at all times, just so you can do adjustments on the fly. Don't leave it on your toolbox. I did that with tools once and highly regretted it. So anyway, get all that cleaned up, finished up. I'm probably going to have an easier time getting the jack out, because I usually have to put the bike onto 2 3/4 pieces of wood, 3 including the center side stand, and then roll up onto those, roll the jack under with a bit of finagling to get the thing under there. But with the extra 1 inch clearance now that I have with the shocks, we'll see. I don't know if it might, it actually might. We'll see. Later.